Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen. Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm sitting here in my studio with comedian, actor, host, New York Times bestselling author, stadium handbag mogul. Please put your hands together for Sarah Colonna. Hello.
I love a round of applause. You know,
Yeah.
It's really nice. Thank you.
You didn't
Thanks
know we
for
had
that.
a tiny, excited group of people who live in the studio. They clap when I introduce the guests and then they disappear.
That's
It's
my favorite
perfect.
thing about this.
Yes. So this is your fourth time on the show.
Yes.
Which I didn't realize. I knew you were on the show when I was at the studio. I knew you were on the show at my other house, but I guess you had come back twice then.
I thought it was my third time, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No,
So-
there's a forgotten episode.
There's a
an
forgotten
episode that
episode.
really didn't stick out in our memory, I guess.
Well, it was either really amazing or it wasn't.
It was a dud. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. No, there was that lost episode, and here you are. And we
Fourth
have
time
stuff.
is an
I
extra
know.
charm.
That's right. We have stuff to catch up on.
Yes.
But first, I must say hello to Tony Thaxton.
Hi.
Hi, Tony.
Hi. Do you know how many times I've been on the show?
I mean, hundreds.
That seems like a cop out of an answer. But
Well, do you want like 843? I thought this whole time, Tony, I thought it was 842. Turns out it was 843. There's a couple of lost episodes among this group at the table. Okay.
Thank you.
So, I need to just come clean with it. I have been on edge and in an agitated mood this week, and I don't know why. And Tony said that he also has not been at his best. How have you been?
I've been pretty agitated.
What is going on?
That's a good question because actually I was saying this to Tony right when you were out for a second, but I do feel like people today are sort of calling it quits for the rest of the month as far as work and whatnot.
Right.
This happens in Los Angeles. I don't know if it happens in every other state. I mean, Los Angeles is a city. I get it. But you guys know what I mean.
Yes.
That everything just kind of shuts down here because
For the holidays, yeah.
we went out. My husband and I went out to lunch and we noticed just a lot of people out,
Like not at their jobs.
at the time when they normally. So I felt a little bit more at ease today, almost like, oh, it's just like fuck it time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But I had been agitated the week leading up, so I don't really know what that is. But maybe
maybe my fuck itness is that emotionally I'm ready to say fuck it, but my life won't allow me to.
that could be it.
I mean, it just seems like a real cop out to be like, I'm in a bad mood because I had to get up early yesterday and do a bunch of stuff and today and do a bunch of stuff. It's got to be deeper. Maybe it's like a post-Thanksgiving thing.
Mine is a little bit of lack of sleep. I'll be 100% honest. I'm in the middle of like sweating at night out of
Okay.
nowhere. And
That is like a perimenopause thing, right?
I think so, but it just started. And it also just started when we got a new comforter. So I've been trying to blame the comforter
Right.
for 2 solid weeks. And my husband keeps saying, well, I'm not hot. But I thought, well, maybe it's the
Why
material.
is he being such an asshole?
I know. Why are you doing
Right.
this? So I do. And I thought I had like a good 10 years to go based
Yeah.
on my my mom and everyone and other people in my family. But so I think that might be.
too.
Sweating at night and putting a fan on and then having your husband toss and turn because he thinks the fan is too loud. He's being very sympathetic, by the way. But just saying, I think that can put one on edge.
You know, so I sleep with a heating pad. It's like my teddy bear.
Okay.
Not really. I also have a bear. No, I just it just like it started as a cramps thing, and then I was like, this is the like most snuggly, warmest thing to have this heated thing on me. So I pretty much year round have it on me, and then sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm just like, this is so gross, but I don't know if that's what a night sweat is. Like, oh my God, I am so sweaty. Like my whole, it feels like from my like neck to mid thigh is just like just soaked.
But you're wearing a heating pad.
Yeah. And so I've always thought it was that.
Okay.
Like I just fell asleep and didn't realize that I was getting really, really, really hot. But now that you're mentioning the night sweats thing, I'm wondering, what if that's what's happening? It could also be that.
I think you have to take away the heating pad first.
Never.
To do a little.
Yeah.
To do it, because I had to take off the comforter the other night to do a test.
And they did it.
No, it was
Okay.
definitely not the comforter. Damn it. Also, I do have 2 cats, and they tend to sleep on me, which are like heating pads.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of things to blame.
Right.
But it's a very different.
What is it like? Like, what's the sweat like? Is it like soaked?
No, it's more. It's almost like waking up like clammy and a little sweaty a couple times a night. And it's only been happening for probably 10 days, so it's new. So I'm just really trying to. At first, I thought, it's because Thanksgiving.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the sweats after Thanksgiving. Doesn't everyone get
sweats.
that? Yeah. But I'm slowly having to realize it's probably just
Hormones.
Yeah.
And see, I feel PMSy, so that's what I want to think it is. Tony, how are you doing?
How are your hormones?
Hormones are all right. I guess the closest thing I have is my dog that turns into a boulder in bed and likes to snuggle, which is cute, but very annoying.
Now, when you say boulder, like how? Like
he is
like dead weight?
Yeah, he like really knows how to just make himself dead weight, and he does not cooperate when you try to move him.
I see.
And he's got some beef to him, as you know.
Yeah.
Hard to move.
Oh, yeah.
Listeners, are you also feeling agitated and or sweating in your bed? Let us know. Yeah, I'm really working on a theory. This is like a just like your sweat theory. It's like a post-Thanksgiving thing. Because like Thanksgiving, we got, just a touch of holiday and a touch of like, and then now we got to be back at the grind.
Yeah.
I don't have a grind set.
And then next week.
What goes on next week?
I don't know. Isn't it soon? Christmas?
Yeah. So
soon we can pretend that we don't have to do anything.
We have 2 whole weeks and then it's Christmas on Monday, right, Tony? Yeah,
it is on a Monday.
Yeah. 2 weeks and then
like,
Christmas.
It's sort of next week people really start
fucking
tapping
off.
Out, right? Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, not people with real jobs, I
Yeah.
guess, because when I say real job, I just mean like a 9 to 5, things that are open,
right?
Things that can't just be like, oh, fuck it. It's Tuesday. I'm going to shut down.
Exactly.
Like, well, so maybe you'll feel better after that. I'm really going to blame the heating pad. I think a heating pad's nice, but I'm not sure that you should sleep with one.
No. I'm going to need one of your cats.
Yeah. I'm happy to deliver
Which one?
to you. Ralphie.
Okay.
You can have Ralphie.
What's the story with Ralphie?
He's a good cat. He's very confident though. He just is like, he's good with anybody. Whereas the other one's a little scared of people.
You think she'd be afraid of me?
She was afraid of me still. And we've had her for a year.
What's her name?
Cindy Lou.
Oh, that's cute.
They have Christmas themed names because my husband is
yes.
very obsessed with Christmas. So,
right.
Yeah. So she's a little more skittish, still kind of, I don't know. We got her out of a shelter, but she's just not like him. I found him outside and he will just do whatever, walk up to anybody. He's just the most
I love that.
Yeah. So he'd have no problem. He'd come right over.
If I were a cat, I would want to be like him. I'm not, and I have shared this before. My friend Yami, who played bass in my band, is like the most confident, charming person who she will chat with a stranger in an elevator. She will chat with the person who's checking her out at the grocery store. And she goes around making people's day brighter, I think. It's not like flirtatious, but it's almost like flirting with people, Yeah. She just like takes an interest in people and can talk to anyone. She's Ralphie. That's how I imagine he would be.
She is. Yeah. That's exactly how he is.
And I so badly want to be that person, but I am just not. Like, I'll be in line at the grocery store and I'll be thinking like, I could just say this to that person. And then but I'm not going to.
No, I'm the same way. A
Yeah.
lot of keeping to myself.
Yes.
I don't like when people talk to me when I'm sitting. I do a lot of alone travel because like doing stand up, if I go out to dinner by myself before a show or lunch on the day of,
Right.
whatever it is, I do a lot of solo travel. And so because of that, I do that by myself at home as well. And the minute someone tries to strike up conversation
Yeah.
with me, It's the worst.
Right.
It's my kryptonite. I can't take it.
What do you do? How do you handle it?
I try to just, I do a lot of looking down at my phone, even though I'm not looking at anything. And then just kind of looking over, nodding my head, but looking right back.
Right.
And then just trying to hope to deter. Most people get it, but there's a lot of people that don't read signals well.
Tony, do you have the Greg Heller, I don't feel like talking drop?
I'm sorry, I don't feel like having a conversation right now.
That's what I need to do.
Yeah, it's my friend who actually says that sometimes to people.
That's a good idea. I mean, that because then it can't be, oh, I'm on my iPad, or, oh, I'm trying to watch this thing, and then being like, oh, but don't you want to talk? You just go, oh, I don't want to talk to you right now.
Right.
I don't want to have a conversation.
Yes.
I like that.
I think, but because now I'm like, wait a minute. Is she spreading joy? What if she's talking to people that don't want to talk to her? She's nimble, though. She knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not like a protract. It's more of just a like, she'll make you feel good about your sweater. She'll make you feel great about your lipstick, I don't know. Okay. Are You My Podcast?
Yes.
This is your runaway hit podcast. Tell me about it.
Well, we started it, actually, a friend of mine, she's a comedian. She lives in Philadelphia. Her name's Mary. And we started it during COVID because we didn't have anything to do. And she said, oh, we should do a Lifetime movie podcast because we both watch these ridiculous Lifetime movies. And it started that way. But then we both watch this Married at First Sight, which is a reality show. It's a huge train wreck. And so we started covering that, and then it became that, a lot of people happen to watch that show, and there weren't, I guess, a ton of podcasts doing it, and maybe there are more now, but we definitely took off on doing that season to season, and they have a couple seasons a year with a little break in between, and when the break's on, we just talk nonsense and dumb topics, but it's been really fun. Well, you know how it is with the podcast. There's so much homework involved in doing a podcast and having guests, and so the homework of watching this show and
which is something that you enjoy anyway.
I do enjoy it. Yeah, it's weird because I'm like, oh, I don't enjoy it as much when I have to take the notes and think about what I'm going to say, but then I enjoy talking about it afterwards because I do love watching, the show. So it's kind of fun.
Do you know Watch What Crappens?
Yeah.
Do you know those guys? Do you watch Bravo shows?
I watch some. I've never been a Housewives fan, but I like Below Deck.
Yes.
And Summer House and some of those shows. So, but those guys are funny.
Yeah. But I think that they come out 5 times a week, and I think they watch so many Bravo shows. Like
they do them all, I think.
Yeah. And I imagine them, but maybe because they said this, like I imagine them sitting there on their computers just like very intricate notes about everything.
Yeah. And that's a lot to have to prepare and watch.
Right.
Me. So I don't have that kind of commitment in me. I can commit to one show.
Yeah. So Married at First Sight, MAFs in your episode descriptions. I don't think I've ever seen it. Can you explain obviously, like, I get what it's probably about based on the title.
Yeah. There's experts, quote unquote, and they interview a ton of people, and they go different cities every season, and they pair people to get married truly at first sight, never seen each other before, first time at the altar, and then they live together.
That's where they meet each other at the altar?
They meet at the altar.
Why am I doing anything other than watching this show?
I'm telling you, it's very fascinating.
Wow.
And it's and then they follow them for 8 weeks. And then at the end of the 8 weeks, they have to make a decision if they're going to get married or get a divorce, as the experts say.
Aren't they already married?
Yes, but stay married or get a divorce. Yeah, so they can get unmarried.
I guess it would be an annulment at that point, right?
They always say it's a divorce. They say it's a legally binding marriage, that it is a divorce. I don't know how true that part is, because it does sound like it would just be an annulment.
Right.
But they are in a legally binding marriage from the beginning.
Who are these experts? Are they like matchmakers?
They are. Well, no, not really. his name is Pastor Cal, and then another one is this woman, Dr. Pepper, who I'm obsessed with.
Dr.
She's
Pepper?
like 4 feet tall. Yeah, and her name's Dr. Pepper.
Oh my God. Tony,
yes.
Why are we not watching this show?
I'm telling you, I'm selling it.
And also, like, how do I not know? Why have I not seen 1,000 gifs of Dr. Pepper?
Is this a nickname or is that like
No, it's her
actually...
name. Dr.
Like she's a
Pepper.
doctor.
Dr. Pepper Schwartz is her name,
Wow.
and she is. She was
Too good.
I think she was something in psychology, something like that, somewhere maybe at the University of Washington.
I need to
because-
see a picture of
Yeah,
this small
she's
person.
adorable, actually. Terrible matchmaker, but adorable. So they've been on it, I think, since the beginning. Those two. It's 17 seasons in this show.
Dr. Pepper Schwartz height
Yeah.
is something that came up like right away.
And I said 4
Oh.
feet. I know she's taller than that.
Let me see. I didn't click on that, but I'm just saying people want to know.
Like it auto-filled the search. Is that what
Yes.
you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay, let's see.
she's very entertaining.
Actually,
And-
Tony, could you find this?
Yeah, let me try.
Because I don't have my glasses on. I cannot see. Okay. And then in one episode, do they cover multiple couples?
Yeah, there's usually 5 couples that get married, and then you follow all of them. So you see their weddings. It's very long seasons. There's about 23 episodes.
Do any
per
of them stay
season.
together?
Well, they have in the past, and lately it's not. Their record hasn't been very good. Seems like, I think with any reality show, people start coming on it for
Very
different
aware of
reasons.
it. The
and
whole
very-
season 5 real world situation.
Exactly.
Las
It's-
Vegas real world.
Yes, it's 100% that. And even if I don't know, I would never do a reality show just to be married to be married to someone to get on TV,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I had to live with that stranger danger for 8 months or 8 weeks. That sounds awful to me.
Yeah.
Like there's other ways.
Wait, don't they vet them to make sure they're not like dangerous?
I think
and you got,
yeah, and there's cameras in
Right.
the apartments and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they vet them. But then I don't know.
Yeah.
These people still turn out. They've had a few really kind of nightmarish
really
people. I mean, nothing like
Violent,
abusive
yeah.
or violent or anything, but people that have been real shits. So
more shitty men or shitty women.
honestly, it's kind of down the middle. But this season in particular, the men seem to suck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like as a viewer you can tell who's going to last and who's not going to?
I always think I can. And then 3 episodes in,
Yeah.
it just completely changes. I think when people become more aware of cameras, they either start to act worse or better,
Right.
depending. And that seems to be what happens in the more recent seasons.
So you would never do a reality show, or you would never do this reality show?
I don't think I would ever do any. I was actually I watched Big Brother, mostly because my husband got me watching it, and he's watched it from the beginning. So I've only watched the past, I don't know, handful of years. But because I watch it and tweet about it, whatever, I was asked if I would do the celebrity version.
Ooh.
And my agent, knowing that I watch it, she's like, "Oh God, we have to run this by Sarah." And I said, "Fuck no." Are
Really?
you crazy? I
I
don't
am,
live in a
yeah.
house with 10 people that I would end up, have you ever seen that show?
I'm embarrassed to say I haven't.
No, don't be embarrassed to say you have. Be
Okay.
embarrassed to say you've watched too many seasons of it, like
Okay.
I have.
Is it on TV or is it on a computer?
No, it's on NBC
there's some
or
show
CBS. CBS.
But is there? Can you also go on? Is there an online component to it? Is it like
Yes.
an iCarly situation?
Yes, you can watch the live feeds, which I'm very proud to
Oh.
say I've never done. But
Okay.
they have,
That's what I'm thinking of
Yeah,
then.
the show is on a couple times a week. I think maybe even 3 when it's in season. And then you can go watch the live feeds. And I know people literally just watch them all day.
Right, like they're your Sims.
Yeah. But they go.
Are there challenges?
There's a lot of contests and challenges, and they're always insane. I always think to myself, how high were the writers when they came up with this weird competition and random things? But that I can't live with strangers in a house. And they have this room that they go into called the diary room, where they kind of decompress or talk about their day or whatever. And I was like, I would be the person that went in there and just cried and said, I need to go home.
Yeah.
And I would be the butt of everyone's jokes. So I just don't think I can handle anything like that.
Were you tempted at all, or were you just like, no?
No, not even a little bit.
Okay.
I can't imagine being in a house with 10 strangers.
Was anyone trying to talk you into it, like your agent or your husband?
No.
Yeah, everyone got it.
Yeah, John was like, "Yeah, you would embarrass." My husband, he was like, "Yeah, you'd embarrass yourself. You would, either go off on someone or just
Right.
fucking roll your eyes at everybody too much or something. It wouldn't go well for you."
Who were the celebrities on that season? Do you know?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what if they weren't strangers? What if they're people you had grown up watching on TV?
Well, I've seen some people, like Ross Matthews did it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
How was it for him?
He loved it. And he was a big fan of the show and he loved it. And but he's just more personable than I am. I'm just more of an asshole who thinks I don't think I could.
Send your cat.
Yeah. Yeah. I can live with cats and I can live with my husband. That's about it.
Tony, do we have a height on Dr. Pepper Schwartz?
I do not have anything definitive because I'm no exaggeration. All of the top results say something different.
Okay.
So
that's so weird.
Anywhere between 4'8" and 5'2" is what I'm seeing.
That's pretty.
I'm going for
wee.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. She sits down in a chair and her little legs swing. You know, it's real cute.
She sounds adorable.
She is. Yeah. I mean, she's also just like a professional with a degree, and I just call her adorable. She'd probably punch me in the face, but
Please, I feel like in the face.
yeah. Well, she couldn't get
elbow,
up there.
that's what I'm saying. I feel like she's trading on her adorableness. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to feel bad. Tony,
Yeah.
could you also find out which season of Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother, were they asking you on? Was it recent?
It was 4 years ago, maybe.
Could you find out the cast of the 4 years ago one? Because I need to know.
Probably 4 is my best estimation because it was before COVID for sure. So
Was Kato Kalin one of them?
well, I didn't know who was going to be on it when they asked me. So, and I honestly don't know if they were for sure going to put me on it or if it was just feeling me out. But either way, I just said no, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I just want to know.
But I know Kato was on it on the season.
Yeah,
It
let's
was
hear who's on the
that one.
Kato season.
Oh, I'm not sure. I realized what came up was it looks like it's just a list of like everybody that's done it. I'm trying to find that season, but
Okay.
I'm not having luck yet.
Let us know when you find it. Your husband, Jon
Yes.
Ryan, former Seahawks player.
Yes.
Former, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Is he still playing football?
He just retired last year in October, November of last year.
Okay.
He started after he was finished with the Seahawks. He played there 10 years, started with Green Bay for a couple too. So, and then he went back to the Canadian Football League for the past 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then he retired last fall as in Edmonton is where he was playing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He just decided, I thought we were going to have to pry that football out of his cold dead hands, but he decided, okay, it's time to.
What made
time
him
to quit.
decide?
I think guys just kind of know. I mean, he was having a great season, so I think he could have kept going, but I also think at some point, I mean, he's only 42, but
Well, how long do they usually play?
honestly, the average career, and I'm not necessarily spitting facts, but just ones that he's given me and I think I've read,
Yeah.
the average career in the NFL is only 3 years.
Okay. Oh, he was in there for a long time.
Yeah, and obviously certain people play longer. Kickers, and he was a punter, so people in that position because they don't get hurt as much, so they can play longer.
Yeah, most people retire by like 30-ish.
Yeah, they do. It's crazy. It's crazy the span of a career in that. I mean, even guys that I know when Jon was back with the Seahawks, that he played with a couple years. Then they have to go out and get jobs after that and, you know, re-ingratiate themselves into the real world, which has
Right.
got to be really weird once you have already
bet,
played,
yeah.
you know, professional football. If they're good with their money, they probably don't have to. Who knows? But it's just
Right.
a very strange business.
So how has that been? Because I know that when you came on before, you were talking about how you were saying that you guys just don't fight.
Yeah.
But you also like almost live separately at that point.
Yeah.
I'm not asking if you fight now. I don't think you do. But no, I'm asking like, what's it like having him around all the time?
It is different. I mean, that was the main thing is like he said, when I met him, he was on the Seahawks. I was always traveling, and then I would just see him part of the year. And even after we got married, he was still playing there. So I would just go there part time, and I would be here part time. And then I think the first time we actually spent almost an entire year actually in the same house was COVID. Because he was at that point he was playing in the Canadian Football League, and they didn't do their season in 2020 because they don't have the TV revenue that the NFL did to go on without fans.
Right.
So he was home, I was home, and I was like, oh shit, what's this gonna be like? And it actually for us it was great because we didn't get to have that experience before. I am definitely a little bit more. He's very good on his own. I'm more of need my alone time, if that makes sense.
Your diary room.
Yeah, we're both exactly. Yeah, I need to go cry in my diary room. Please get out. So he, I think because we both lived by ourselves for so long before we got married, we're both very cautious of each other's space, and that was helpful. So mostly if he would see sort of, I don't know, my right eye twitch when he would walk into a room, he'd be like, I think I'm just gonna go upstairs and watch TV for a while. And I'd say, that sounds great. Please do that. So we kind of worked that out well. And not to sound cheesy, but we just are really good buddies on top of it. I don't want to say buddies because that doesn't sound like a good, but you know what I mean? Like we are really close.
We enjoy each other's
company.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. It helps make that part easier and that transition easier. And he's fulfilled as far as, I think a lot of times when people retire from football, they don't necessarily feel that they got to do everything they wanted to do. And because their careers can be so short.
Right.
So for him, I think he got to do everything he wanted.
Wow.
He probably would have liked to have played longer in the NFL, even if he could, but it is what it is. Once you get a certain age, they replace you with the next guy coming up, and just how it works.
Traded to the Canadian League?
No. So when he was with the Seahawks, it was his 10th season.
I guess they wouldn't make that kind of trade, right?
No. And they drafted a punter. And
did they warn him this was going to happen?
Well, it was a little bit shitty because we didn't feel that they were as upfront about it. They were kind of, they really liked him, and he was really good friends with the GM, still is,
right?
And Pete Carroll, like they all got along great. So I think all of them felt an extra layer of this sucks that they normally feel. And I mean, I know that's a hard job too, but this guy, Michael Dixon, who's a great punter, he was being drafted, and, you know, they didn't want to pass up on him because he would be kind of their next 10-year guy probably.
Right.
So Jon totally understood that part of it. I think that they just kind of danced around it a little bit, and maybe they could have been more direct, in my opinion. Jon might say different, but and then he kind of had to train the guy because they kept him even though they knew they drafted this guy. And I was like, if you're going to draft a punter, you're definitely going to keep that punter. You're not going to waste a draft pick. So Jon's out, but they didn't end up releasing him until right at the end of the preseason. So they kind of hung on to him.
And did he kind of know that
he did, but he's super classy and just wanted to be professional. He was like, I'll teach him what I know and I'll work with him, and I'm going to show up to all the preseason games the way I have to and should. Yeah. But the problem with that is when they drag it out like that, then he didn't really have a chance to go to another team that season.
I see.
So he ended up going to the Bills right after that, but that didn't work out. And then he was like, well, I'm not done playing football, so I'm going to go to Canada, because he didn't get signed anywhere else in the NFL. So he went there and played 4 years and had a blast. God. He's Canadian, so it was kind of his
Imagine loving doing anything that involves moving your body that much.
I know. Seriously. I was like, or you could just
football. Wow.
I know. And also just completely stays on like his workout and all that stuff still. Is probably even in better shape, where I think I'd just be like, I just unbutton my pants and let it fly at that point. If I didn't have to, weigh in anymore and worry about muscle mass and all that, I would just be like, fuck this. I'm going to have a nice life.
Still really active.
Yeah. Which is good. Yeah.
Does he go to a gym, or do you guys have like a home gym?
We actually got a really good home gym during COVID, because he had to have all the, like, we had to get a squat rack and all that kind of stuff that I would never imagine in my own home. Yeah.
Oh, is that one of those like things with the weights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we had a couple small things and then we ended up just getting everything. And we have a space above our garage, and we turned it in there. And now actually, I never thought I'd like working out home. I love it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. You just walk upstairs, and then when you're done, you're done. You don't have to drive anywhere, and it's not people. Mm-hmm. You know how I feel about people.
Yeah. It sounds like you're not that into them.
It sounds like I'm an asshole is what it sounds like.
No, it sounds like you like them when you're on stage and they're in the audience and they've paid.
I love that. Yes. And I love to meet them after.
Yeah.
And I like people at parties and friends. That's about it.
Right. It sounds like you just don't like the people that you run into at the mall.
That's it.
I don't know. I'm not putting down mall people. I'm just talking about, crowds.
Just crowds. I love a crowd at a stadium. I love a crowd at a game, a concert. but put me in an airport and I am just like the huffing and puffing.
I'm with you.
Just I want to smack people in the back of the head, that kind of lady. Yeah. Yeah. Not pleasant.
I think I get it. Now this is your husband's favorite time of year, yes?
Yeah. Big Christmas guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have 5 Christmas trees up.
Do you have a favorite?
There's our living room has 3, which seems very excessive, and it's not as if we have a giant living room, but they're spaced out well, and they're one sort of in the corner by our TV that they all have their own different decorations, and that one,
themes?
yeah, and that one is
this.
my favorite because it's gold and red, and it kind of looks like a department store tree, which for some reason I just love,
Yeah.
and so I think that one's my favorite.
What are the themes of the trees?
Well, they're just one has only Tiffany ornaments that he's collected over the years.
he
One
collects
has
Tiffany ornaments. Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a Tiffany ornament looks like.
I didn't really either until I saw them all on a tree. And now I'm worried that the cats are going to knock them down. But
yeah.
and then the one's red and gold, and then the other one has I think red and white ornaments. And then in our bedroom is a Christmas tree.
Bedroom tree. What's that one?
It's just got ornaments. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really have quite a theme to it. But then he has a little mini tree with his favorite soccer team right next to the bed. Which
That's
is
so cute.
Yeah, Swansea. It's a UK team. And so there's a lot of trees. And there's even one in our gym. So a lot of trees.
that's
But he
6
does
trees.
it all. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are 6. He does it all. I am not allowed to help. And it's really nice because it's so comfortable. I never decorated for Christmas. I grew up in Arkansas. When I moved out here, I would always go home for Christmas. So even when I would attempt to maybe put a stocking up in my sad apartment, it would just look sad. And I'd be like, I'm not even here for Christmas. What do
Yeah.
I care? I just don't decorate.
Right.
So when I met him and saw how much he loved to decorate and go all out, I thought, oh my God, how am I I'm just going to mess it up because I'm
Yeah.
not good at this. And he was like, oh no, you're not going to help. Please don't touch my stuff, basically.
That
And
was so perfect.
we have a storage unit for everything because there's not enough
a
room.
special. Is it just for Christmas
Just
stuff?
for Christmas stuff. Yeah.
love
And
that.
so he was going to pick the stuff up out of storage after Thanksgiving. And I said, do you want me to go with you and help? And he said, no, you're just going to take up a seat where I could put another box.
Tree, yeah.
And okay.
I
So
love that.
I just sit there and enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
That does sound really. Now, what I remember seeing a lot of Instagram stories about the garbage cans.
Yeah.
What's that? What was the situation with that?
I have a real issue with having to take the garbage out now that I'm married. It's
yeah.
it's-
No, we don't do that.
No.
we wives don't do that.
No, as feminist as I can pretend to be, I have
Yeah.
a real fucking problem with having to do anything. And so whenever he's away on trash day, I
Okay.
make videos and I send them to him about how bad my life is.
So now,
Because
though,
I had to drag the bins to the curb, which is like a 5-minute job, maybe. And I act like it takes all day.
you have to, brave the elements.
And then you got to put him back.
Yeah. So now, though, do you not have to do that now that he's back?
Well, sometimes he's still out of town. Sometimes he leaves town.
Yeah.
And he does keep himself busy with some businesses and stuff too. So yeah, I try. I always suggest, like, don't you want to leave on Thursday instead of Wednesday?
Tony, what's the division of trash labor in your house?
Well, we don't even have to take the bins to the road because
Oh.
our annoying old man neighbor behind us kind of does it for us, and then the
Right.
apartments behind us. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
see, that's nice.
But you have to
Yeah.
walk the trash to the bin.
Yes, but that part is super easy. Like basically, it's like on the other side of the wall, basically from where our trash can is to where the bins are.
And you're just taking the trash out. You don't have to pull the bin.
Yeah.
That's the work.
But would you say that you and Flo equally do this?
I'd probably do it slightly more, but she does it a fair amount. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Right
think that's-
now she does. Just you wait.
Well, that's what I was used to because when I lived by myself, I lived in a condo and I didn't even have to ever do it. It was like
Yeah.
split up between my other 2 neighbors. I don't know what my job was. Maybe they didn't give me one for a reason, but I never had to do it. So then when we moved into a house and I was like, wait, you have to do this stuff on your own. And John said, no, I'll do it. And then he wasn't home
shirked
6
his
months
duty.
out of the year. Yeah, it's
He
real wrong.
promised.
It's not right.
He didn't stand by his word.
The old man that takes the trash bins to the
Uh-huh.
street, like our garbage goes on Wednesday, And he wheels those trash cans out to the street at like 10 a.m. on Tuesday. I'm like, why are you taking them out so early?
Yeah. Now he's just
every
making
single
it-
week. Yeah, drives me crazy.
He's going to make it full of dog poop because
Mhm.
someone's going to throw it in. And now you got to walk your buns all the way to the thing
Yeah.
to throw out trash.
That's when it's annoying.
Yeah.
But I also understand why he does that. Okay, as a lady who's now had to do it herself, and I mean, you don't understand because you haven't had to do it. Okay, you just the minute it hits you to do it, you just want to get it over
Oh,
with.
yeah.
Okay, you're like, I'm going to go do it at 10 in the morning. That way, it's not hanging over my head all day.
Yeah.
This duty that I truly think takes hours that doesn't. But that's why he does it. I'm on team your neighbor.
Don't defend this guy.
Can we talk about sad stuff for a little bit?
Oh yeah,
We both lost our dads.
yeah. And yours was
July.
It was okay. It was July. I thought, yeah, mine was end of June. So same.
Wait, end of June this year?
Mm-hmm.
It's so, I don't know if you've had this experience. I feel like time has gotten all confusing since he died. Like, I feel like that's a function of grief, maybe.
I agree with that 100%.
I didn't realize it was, so my dad was July 12th. When was,
June 28th.
okay. How are you doing? So it's so close in time.
It's awful. It's truly terrible. And maybe that's why we're agitated
Yeah.
now that I'm thinking
Well,
about
you
it.
know what? Because it's also giving me like brain fog a little bit. I forgot that I had already decided that the last time I felt agitated. It was like, is this some manifestation of grief? I think it can be.
I think it can be. I mean, I'll be very honest. And I would, for the first 3 weeks, I really depended on Xanax. I spoke to my doctor because I was like, I can't handle talking to, I mean, I already sound like I can't handle people, but just anytime I was in a crowd, I would get very anxious. Or if even having friends, we had a little 4th of July thing with only my closest friends. And even then I didn't cancel it because I thought, oh, it'll be nice to have everyone over. But even then I just felt overwhelmed. And she was like, I'm going to give you Xanax and you should take that. And you should not worry about taking it for the first, I don't want you abuse. And she was correct. I needed it for a specific amount of time. Probably a couple times a week, not daily even.
Right.
And even when the next time I saw her to refill it, she was like, oh, good. It's been a while. Like you didn't,
Right.
but it helped. And I think the hardest part for me was probably Thanksgiving because my dad had a really big tradition on Thanksgiving. He lives in Palm Desert. So my stepmom is still there and she and I are close and luckily have a very good relationship. So they were married 27 years. So we definitely are trying to be there for her too, because obviously her daily life is so thrown into chaos. But on Thanksgiving, my dad was in charge of hosting Marines at the country club on the golf course where they live, because they live by 29 Palms, which is a Marine base. And it was like his big thing that he led. So we continued it. And this year it went off great again, but without him. But it was just such his pride.
Yeah.
So I think that I know Christmas will be hard too, just because I always, I didn't spend it with him, but obviously talked to him. And but Thanksgiving I spent with him and that stuff. So that was probably my hardest. Was that hard for you?
Yeah. We would go down to my parents. My mom is down there, but it's funny. Yesterday my son had a dentist appointment and, she said, oh, are you going to spend the holidays in town? Are you going to go away? And I said, well, my mom lives down in Orange County. Like I still, just those little tiny things.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they live down in Orange County and we would always go down there for Thanksgiving. This year, my mom and my sister and my sister's family went to Las Vegas because my dad loved Las Vegas. And I think everyone's thought was, let's be in a different location to not be reminded so much, we were going to go to Vegas. We, for a number of reasons, didn't. I was excited about let's have Thanksgiving here. We've never hosted it at our house. We'll use our Christmas china, which my mother-in-law bought me and is new, and I'm excited about it. I've never had Christmas plates before, so it's a big deal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah. So, and my dad's, what would have been his 90th birthday was 2 days after Thanksgiving. So I expected that would be the day that was really hard. But for some reason, Thanksgiving was just like, I was so keenly aware of him not being alive anymore. Even though it, like, I thought somehow, since I'm not at their house and I'm not, it's like this is my family and we're here. I wouldn't feel it so much, but it was like very intense.
It is. And I think it's also, it's the person that you've never known Thanksgiving without them.
Right.
Whether or not you spent it with them or you
Yeah.
didn't doesn't really come into play. Even at that, it's always like, someone had mentioned that to me and they just were like, it's like losing the sun and the moon because you've never had your life without either of those things. And I was like, oh, fuck, that's deep and sad, but also accurate.
I think the reason it was so surprising, though, is because I've spent a lot of the times, like, there was the, initial grief and just like, I can't, like, I had been worried about my dad dying for a long time. And I had talked about it in therapy. And there was like this anticipatory grief kind of thing. It was still a surprise when he died, but like he hadn't been doing well for the last year. So I have spent a lot of time walking around going like, I can't believe the sun fell out of the sky. And here I am. I'm still recording my podcast. I'm still taking care of my children. I'm still taking a shower. I'm still functioning. Like, oh my God, like I am truly an adult because I am okay. Like, am I okay? I'm actually okay. This all sounds like crazy, but at the same time,
no,
like,
I understand. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised that I'm okay, but then except for on that day, I don't mean to say I'm doing great every other day and that day was bad, but so given that I am surprised how okay I am, I was surprised at how not okay I was on that day.
Yeah. I think it makes sense, though. And I obviously think everyone has their own process with it, no matter what. And also what certain holidays mean to you or what your relationship was or wasn't and all those different things. But yeah, for me, I think I felt sometimes guilt, too, for feeling okay. And then knowing, oh, God, my stepmom's not okay. She's coming home to an empty house and I'm not moving on, but in some ways wondering if I was. And I probably have been a slower pace than some of my friends that I know have lost their dads. Not that they were just laughing and carrying on the next day, but I just feel ours was a little sudden and sort of infuriating in some points because it was he wasn't treated when he should have been. So
I have a similar thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of angst and sort of anger.
I have
around
anger.
that. Yeah.
How old was your dad?
75, 74, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like,
It's too young.
yeah. What do you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
No, it's okay.
But what happened?
So he had liver cancer and he had a stroke last year around this time. Well, actually, I think it was October last year. And they did a full body scan after his stroke that had turned out it came from a heart valve that he had replaced. So anyway, they do a full body scan. They find a spot on his liver and they said they needed to obviously see what that is. They were like, okay. And then his doctor said, it might be blood vessels, could be a shadow, could be something else. They end up telling him that it is a small tumor, but that liver cancer is so rare to start there, that it has to have come from somewhere else. And they were like, we're not worried about this. We're not worried about this at all. We can zap it. This is in like March of this year. We can zap it. We just need to find out where else it's coming from. It had to have probably came from your colon while he was up on his colonoscopy. Well, they give him another one, endoscopy, everything. They put him through everything. They can't find cancer anywhere else. Finally, in May, they said, maybe it is primary liver cancer, so we need to get you into treatment. And by then it was too late. And he started declining very fast. And we even we drove him to UCLA to see a different doctor. And this doctor looked at his files and threw them down and looked at us. And he was like, what the fuck happened? Why weren't you treated? Basically confirming what we were, So, and his doctor even said to him, I'm so sorry. So sorry we didn't treat you. And he's like, so sorry. He's there's nothing they could do now. It had spread. It spread out of the liver into his body, and it was too late.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
So if they would have taken care of it,
right.
and I hate doing the ifs, but that's a true one.
Yeah. So if they had, and I because I also do a lot of what ifs. If they had, then it would have been treatable.
Yeah, they told him from the beginning, it's very treatable. It's contained on your liver. It's a small spot. Their argument was that not treating it because they thought it had to have been coming from somewhere else. They didn't believe he had primary liver cancer because it is very rare. But he didn't have, they test you for all these other things, hepatitis, all these other things that would give you liver cancer, which he didn't have. And they just kept insisting it's got to be somewhere else in your body.
But why not just treat that spot?
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
And I don't, and there's part of course, my stepmom and I are always like, should we have been telling him to push? But you listen to the doctor. Not ever again, by the way, like never again. I will always probably insist on, that had we seen this other doctor earlier or something. And I don't know why everyone was so.
Do you feel like it's malpractice?
Yeah, definitely. I think my stepmom's looked into talking about that. It's not about money at that point. It's about not letting it happen to someone else because it seems so, especially when we saw another doctor who looked at the case and just thought, and this guy was like very high up at UCLA in the liver department, and he was just shocked. Yeah. I mean, he pulled my stepmom and I aside because he didn't want to even say more in front of my dad because it was, my dad was dead a week after that meeting.
Oh.
And he was just flabbergasted. He said, I don't understand any of this. And we were like, well, we were told that they were going to do something after they figured out what was going on. And he's like, this is what was going on. So it was really.
Oh, that's so awful. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
I mean, the only thing that I can say that, and not good in any way, but like I try to look at upsides of my dad would not have wanted to be sick for a long time.
Yeah.
So the fact that he wasn't and that it just came on fast and too late, I guess, in some ways was a blessing because he was having a really hard time with being
incapacitated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. His totally mind was right. Like everything, I'm making jokes, up until the end. So,
right.
He was very aware of what was going on, and I think he would have had a really hard time if he was aware of what was going on and in that state for an extended period of time.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sad. I think in my experience of various types of loss, I think that sense of like injustice, like someone fucked up for me, makes it harder.
Yeah.
It complicates it. Like at least, so with my dad, he was like, for a long time, I feel like he had something would concern him and he would go to his cardiologist or the hospital or whatever, and his cardiologist would assure him that it's okay. And then he had this heart attack 11 months ago, and which was like weird to my mom. Well, I got this like text saying, taking dad to the emergency room. He may have had a small heart attack, like not a big deal though. And he himself had decided at like 5 a.m, I should probably go in. So he was feeling something in his chest or whatever. But he and my mom were like, it's certainly not a big deal because like, he got like a clean bill of health from his cardiologist just very recently before that.
Yeah.
Ends up, his heart is occluded, like 90% occluded in like 3 different spots. So his heart he had been told was doing A-okay was like absolutely not in good shape. And this made, there had been a few moments before that where my mom was worried because he just seemed like very out of it. And I think he wasn't getting enough oxygen. Like we had all these other theories for what could be causing this. I think he had not been getting enough oxygen for a while. So he ended up being in the hospital for 2 weeks. If he was younger, they could have done more, but like they could have done bypass or like open heart surgery, but because his age and his condition, like they can't do that. They did one like a high risk stent and that went well. But then after coming home, like he was just never the same after. Like he just was weak and old. And so then like the 2 days before he died, he was very sleepy. He'd been sleeping a lot, like not really eating. But that wasn't that unusual. But my mom, day of, my mom was texting me, and like the subtext of the text was kind of like, should I be taking him in? But he was reassured. My dad was retired, but a doctor himself. Right. And he was saying to my mom, like, I don't need to go in. I know, I'm sorry you're worried, but I promise you I don't need to go in. And my mom was like, said something like, if going in was like the difference between you staying alive and you dying, are you saying you'd rather stay home? And he was like, that's not what I'm saying. That's not happening right now. So that is a data point that my dad was making it very clear.
Okay.
He didn't want to go in. He had grown to like really hate being in the hospital.
Yeah.
But I even said to my mom, like, I think that if something happens and you didn't take him in, you might regret it. I was going back and forth between like, how involved should I be getting in this? I'm not there. I can't see it.
Yeah,
I'm not a doctor.
It's hard. Yeah.
But she called his cardiologist, and his cardiologist reassured her, he's fine. Like you don't need to, there may come a time where you need to take him into the emergency room, but you're not there yet.
Okay.
And I said to her, push him to find out how when you need to take him in. Like what are you looking for?
Yeah.
And she's like, unless things take a turn, I'll call him in the morning and find out. And then he was gone that evening. So.
And what did the cardiologist say after that?
When he got the death certificate, he called my mom, and she said that he seemed very surprised.
Right.
So I don't know. Now the silver linings in this situation are he hated the hospital. Like he got to die at home in his sleep. I do think that there was like some kind of event or something, because the position he was in bed was not like, he was kind of like face down. So that's not how he normally slept. He slept on his stomach, but like, we don't know. Probably I think he might have like tried to get up and then something happened and he fell back down or something. I don't know. But still, while he was napping, I don't think there was an awareness. And versus had he gone to the hospital, it would, my mom, it would have been like against what he wanted. My mom would have like talked him into it. He would have been connected to tubes. He would have been uncomfortable. He would have been scared. And I don't know if they could have done anything.
Yeah.
But it's hard to turn off all the what ifs. And the anger that like hasn't gone away, and if anything has almost like gotten stronger at the cardiologist of like, you let him die.
Yeah, that's how I definitely feel about my dad's oncologist.
Yeah.
And I mean, almost admittedly, really, in some ways, by saying, sorry,
right,
we should have treated this. And he was in the hospital, which sucked. He really wanted to, and he was like, I just want to go home. And they said, if we put you in an ambulance right now, it could be really bad. It was like
if they disconnect him from
they basically said, we're going to disconnect you from everything, and then if you're okay tomorrow and stable, we can take you and we can talk about sending you home for hospice. But for the moment, they want to put him in hospice in the hospital, and he was gone late that night, so he wouldn't have made it. But my dad was like, when they said, if we put you in the ambulance right now, it could be really bad, right? Because if we disconnect, you could die on the way to your house. And he said, bad for who? I'll be dead. He's like, he just wanted to get out of there so badly.
That is breaking my heart.
Yeah. And I wish we could have, but you can't. I mean, you also can't put anyone in the position of making them, let you. I don't think legally they could even let him leave ICU at that moment, as much as he wanted to go home.
Were you there for the last breath?
I was there. We were all there with him until he was completely out from morphine. And I think we all left pretty late that night. My only regret is that I should have just stayed the night. Because sometimes because I was convinced he would be still there the next day.
Yeah.
And I think we all were, but maybe not his friends, like two of his best friends, but my stepmom and I. And I think John, my husband, knew that he wouldn't be, but we did go home or go back to our hotel that night. And in some ways, I wish I would have stayed, because that's that moment of, like you said, with your dad with an event, you're like, was he alone? When did he wake up? Did he, no? I mean, he was so out of it at that point on morphine that we all we had been there for, basically 22 hours and just decided.
It seems like sometimes they go when they're alone. Like it's almost like they're waiting. I don't know. Like my mom really, so she took care of him like round the clock, like refused. I mean, all of us were like, hire someone, like get someone to help you. Like you're look at you, mom. Like you're losing your mind. I mean, it's not really, but like you're burning the candle at both ends. And like, she wouldn't bring someone in. So she was really his caretaker this whole time. And the last day he was mostly in bed. She was checking on him, very frequently. And then talked to the cardiologist. He reassured her. So she like went and was at her computer for a little while. And then she went and checked on him and he was gone. And I feel like it's all very, like, that's very understandable, but she's so really wishes, that's like her big regret, is that she wasn't in the room with him.
Yeah, I think my stepmom feels that way too, but I do think there's something to sometimes people wanting
privacy
for you not to be there for it. Almost like we've done everything, we've hugged, we've talked, I'll go when you're gone kind of thing.
Because there's so many stories of that. Like my friend Allie Ward, her dad, it was like her mom stepped out of the room to take a 7-minute phone call. And like they knew he was dying, he had cancer. But it was like the second she was out of the room, he's like, bye.
That's crazy. Yeah. I do think there's something to that. And I try to tell my stepmom that too when she brings that up, or even when I bring it up, and John will say the same thing to me if I do that thing but for the most part, other than all of the awfulness around it, the good part was being there together. And my dad was like writing notes to people because he had a ventilator on at that point. So he was writing notes to my husband. He wrote him a note, and John told him he'd take care of everyone. So we had good moments.
That's really sweet. Are there
sad cast?
Are there things that you have found have helped you in your grief?
Other than Xanax, I think just for me, really a good thing is we had a really good relationship, and we had an opportunity not to, because my parents were divorced when I was pretty young, and my dad was married 4 times. So he, it wasn't until he met my stepmom that he really found his, I believe, true soulmate, and she's amazing. So coming from getting divorced when I was young, and my dad kind of married pretty quickly after that. So I think there was a little crossover. So there was definitely a point when I was younger that I wasn't
super into him,
super thrilled with him, but I would always come out here every summer and visit him. And then eventually when I was old enough, I was like, oh my God, my parents should never have been. I mean, I'm glad they were together because I guess I'm here and my sister and whatever, but they're so opposite. And my mom found my stepdad's amazing. So I ended up with really 2 great sets of parents, and then they all got along. So
that's great.
My mom, she was definitely very hurt when she was young and when they got a divorce, but she was heartbroken when he died because they got along fine and they were all at my wedding and everyone. So I think I'm just really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for everyone being good with each other,
Yeah.
including, and my dad and I had a really good relationship. I would go down there and hung out with his friends, and he was proud of me and I was proud of him. And so,
Oh, that's sweet.
yeah. So, like him and my stepdad both walked me down the aisle. and-
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So
really
I think,
sweet.
I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. To, so if anyone has those, I mean, some issues, you obviously god awful things. I understand people can't get past, but if
Right.
it's divorce and bitterness over it, sometimes if you just look at it and you go, that's how it should have been,
Yeah.
this is it's right. They're both happy, and you can find peace in that and have a good relationship with someone that
Yeah.
you'll be happy.
Yeah, I made an effort but this the whole last 11 months was like this feeling of like, is he about to die? Is he about to die? So I, knowing that there was probably not that much time left, I don't know, tried to make more of an effort to go down there and spend time with him. And every time I left, I was like, is this the last time I just saw him? And I'd had a really good conversation with him 2 weeks before he died. And that brought me some peace, this feeling of like, I was in a good place in my relationship with him. And we got to have this conversation that was, better than some of the ones before. Not that we'd had bad conversations. I just felt like we hadn't really had a chance to really connect. And it was like a good conversation. And, but then I did. So right when he died, I was like, wow, any anger or resentment or anything I had towards him, it's just gone, just poof, like magically. Some of it has come back a bit. Have you had that? I guess, or maybe you were like truly past everything with your dad.
I mean, I think I was truly past everything. Yeah, I think I was. Even when like my stepmom and I had to go through all this stuff we were putting together. We didn't do a service until just last month because they lived in Palm Desert. They were year round there, but some people, it's their second home. So
Right.
most of their friends were gone. So we waited for everyone to come back. And then we had to go through all this stuff. And it was like, I mean, I found one album of my first stepmom, and my stepmom and I were like, she's like, who's that? And I was like, oh, it's fucking Lori. And then we were like laughing, and I'm like, why does he still have this? And
Yeah.
but there's like a bunch of photos of me and my sister
Aw.
and whatnot in there. And then I found this whole scrapbook of all my college plays that he had kept that
Aw,
he never
that's
saw
so
any of
sweet.
them, but
Oh, but
I would
still.
send
Yeah.
the programs to him, and he kept them all. So I was like, oh, and yeah, most of the stuff I found, like all his divorce records, and we just laughed about it because I was like, what is it? This envelope is so thick. She goes, oh, it's all his divorces. And we were just like, so I think I think so.
Yeah, it sounds
I'm
like
sure
it.
something will, I mean, who knows what'll come up. There's, for other people in my family, there's a couple other members of my family and him that didn't necessarily have a good relationship. And I that sucks for them and for him. And so I wish he would have
Right.
cultivated some relationships better, but it's also wasn't just on him.
How's their grief? If you know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I don't want to speak for my sister. So I'll be vague. I think the siblings who made an effort to try to spend time with him before he died are a little more at peace now than the ones who didn't do that. It's more of a like, oh shoot. Now like I wasted time being mad and not trying to appreciate him. And then like, I'm really never going to get my chance to have closure
Yeah.
with this, it just sucks. And
Yeah.
it's crazy that every single person goes through this at some point. Like,
I know. And it's definitely was sudden for my dad. I mean, he was in a band, and this past April I had gone to see him play. It was right before his birthday. And he and his band, he sang for 4 hours.
oh,
And
what kind of band?
They played like mostly classic rock.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
that's
called
so
On the
cool.
Rocks. Yeah, it was really fun. And they did a lot of like Palm Desert Country Club gigs. But he played for 4 hours, and this was the end of April. And so
Yeah.
for me to wrap my brain around him
I
being
know,
gone in
June.
June and he couldn't, I mean, it was such a fast decline. It was crazy. So, but since he'd had a few health issues not related to that over the past couple of years, like the stroke, and then he had some vertigo issues and stuff. So I was kind of already consciously, I think, even though I would see him, I was making more trips than usual. So yeah, there's gratefulness and all that stuff. And I think it is hard for people that didn't make the same effort, or are in denial about that, which is one of my family members is probably. Yeah.
And then also for me, therapy, but people know that I'm all about therapy.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No.
I'm not obsessed, but I mean, it's like, I guess I just depend on it, I guess is how I would put it.
I think I should probably, I haven't been in a long time, but I'm very pro therapy. I just haven't gone in a long time. I did have a therapist that fell asleep on me once, and that didn't make me feel great. Yeah. She said I talked too much about my ex-boyfriend at the time.
Wait, this sounds like a terrible therapist.
Yeah, she fell asleep. And I was in my early 30s, very early. Yeah, like probably 30, 31. And I was dating this guy, and he was the worst, but I was trying to break up with him. I don't know. It was in one of those things where it was like a back and forth. Should I not? Whatever. And yeah, one day she just fell asleep. And then
how did you, like, sitting up, just staring at you with eyes closed?
Yeah, sitting up, her head just nodded.
Oh my God.
And I said, did you just fall asleep? And she said, I am not lying. She said, sorry, I just feel like you talk about him too much.
Oh my God.
And
that is so.
I was like, I think that's what I'm here for.
I'm glad you said that.
I mean,
what did she say?
If I'm talking through something here, and sorry if it's fucking boring to you, but you're a therapist. And so that didn't make me feel great about therapy. But I did keep going to her.
Really?
Yeah. I have a hard time quitting things that I should.
What's that about?
I don't know.
But did your feelings about her change that day? Or did you start talking about him less?
It almost became funny for me to go and to see if she'd stay awake. It almost became, for me, just a thing to see. But that is the last therapist I went to. However, I'm definitely, even if you're not going through something, I think it's obviously great. But I do think I could probably benefit from some of this, like, what ifs in my head if I went to someone that just could sort of talk you out of that. Because John's pretty good at it, but he doesn't have the professional skills.
Right. I think so. I have had therapists look at me in like an especially heavily lidded way. And then I've been like, are they about to fall asleep? And once I begin to have that fear, I cannot, like, I feel like I'm like on fire or something. Like, I get very like distracted from what I'm trying to say because I'm trying to pretend that I'm not worried about this, but it's all I'm thinking about. And then I'm like, is it because of like the low light in here? Like, what's happening? Is it after lunch? Like,
yeah, did I get the post-lunch therapist?
Right.
I mean, they do have, maybe they should all have standing desks or something now instead of sitting because, especially if they're prone to nodding off.
Yes.
I mean, I get it. It can be boring to listen to people's problems, but I mean, feel like if you're getting paid for it, you should stay awake.
But I feel like you and I have especially compelling problems.
Thank you.
So maybe fall asleep on some other clients.
Yeah.
But not us.
There's got to be more boring clients than me.
For sure. We're professionals.
Exactly.
We entertain people even in our problems. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah, it was good to talk about, actually.
Yeah, good. I say let's move on to something lighter, which is product picks. And sorry, I got to put on my glasses here.
I love a reader, by the way. I just now got my readers finally after months of saying, why can't I see the menu? Is it dark in here? And finally my husband was like, I think maybe you need to get your eyes checked. And boy, did I. Yeah.
Now,
it's nice. I can read now.
Did you ever need glasses before?
No.
That's how I am. It's a new development.
Yeah.
I accept it now, but at the beginning. But I feel like it's like really gotten worse lately though, because before it's like, it's easier with glasses, but I don't absolutely need them. But now I'm just like, I think I cannot, like, I can't read anything up close if I don't have them on.
That's where I've gotten to, where I just thought I only needed them sometimes, maybe on small font, and now I'm realizing I need them most of the time. Only when reading. I see fine otherwise, but it's just reading.
Right. Is mine just reading? I mean, no, it's like stuff. I don't know. I'm sure I could figure out how the distance of like how much I need them, but it's weird.
Sounds dangerous to ride with you.
Well, no, I have.
I'll figure out the distance. Yeah. How close I am to that car. Sure.
It is weird to depend on a device, though.
It is.
I mean, I guess I could get like.
They look good on you.
Thank
so that's
you.
really all that matters.
Thank you very much. I guess there's contacts for reading. Like you can get one or something, or progressive contacts. I don't know.
Sounds easier just to put on glasses.
I think so. Okay, so segment where we talk about products that you happen to love. I believe we have a little drop. Podcast Pals product picks. Yes.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, Robin Shore, for that. So what are some things that you like?
Well, my readers, for sure. I'd say that the one thing that I put on all day is like a lip balm. I'm almost probably addicted to it. I do a sugar.
Oh, yeah.
You ever used sugar? And then I've also discovered one called Lawless.
Oh, I don't know Lawless.
And it kind of plumps up your lips. It says, I don't really think it does, but I pretend it does. I like that. And my other new thing, and now I'm really going to sound like a grandma, is hand lotion. I've been all day.
Yeah, I've been hand lotioning all day for years.
Have you found the one with retinol in it? Because there's one with retinol that's supposed to kind of keep. I'm just very paranoid.
Is it Gold Bond?
It's not. I don't.
No, there's like a Gold Bond, crepey skin and age defense or something like that. I haven't brought them yet, but I keep hearing good things. But I don't use a retinol hand cream.
It's Rock maybe or ROC. Yeah, but big fan. Very paranoid about having old lady hands for some reason. And live off of using anti-aging hand cream. Whether or not it works, I don't know, and I don't care. I just know I'm going to try.
Okay. All right. So the sugar lip gloss, is it like a stick?
Yes.
That one? Which is it? Because they have like ones that have slight colors in them.
Yeah, they have some tinted. There's clear. I think the one I like, it's kind of like a light berry. So it's basically the same color as your lips, but just a tiny bit of a tint to it.
Okay.
I enjoy that. I'm not a big makeup person, so I enjoy something minimal that gives me a little pop.
And then
because I'm not good at makeup.
Lawless, but you look lovely, and you have some makeup on now.
I do. I have a little. Well, because I wasn't sure if you were doing video,
right?
And I, as we discussed when we started, I use a little bit of a. I mean, I always put on mascara, but I'm not good at all the other things.
Right.
But I use a little. That's the other thing, I guess. It's Thrive.
Oh, yeah.
Like just a pencil, and you just put it on your lids. Big fan.
What color is that? Do you know?
Aurora. I do know. It's Aurora.
I like it. Aurora.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of mascara?
Milk.
Oh, I don't know Milk.
Okay. I go through mascara like trying them all because I feel like I find one, and then 2 days later I feel like it's all over my face.
Yeah.
Kind of, I think mine runs for some reason. So Milk is my new Kush. It's called, I think, Milk Kush mascara. And I have found this is my new favorite.
I'll have to check it out. I'm a big fan of Thrive actually. Their Lash Extend tubing mascara. Have you tried that one?
I have. It doesn't work for me as well, but because we've had ads for them on our podcast actually, so, and my podcast partner loves it.
Yeah.
But for some reason it looks makes mine look a little thinner than I want, but long.
Right.
But on her, it looks great. So I don't know. I think it just might not. But I love everything else I have by them.
And the Lawless lip gloss, is that in a pot or is it also a stick?
No, it's a stick too. I like a stick. I don't like to put my finger in anything and then put it on my lips.
Yeah. Now, what about anti-aging for hands? What about the face?
A lot of, my favorite one would be, it's from, PCA Skincare.
I think I've heard of
the
that.
brand. And it's a hyaluronic boosting serum. And it's probably like $112, but it lasts a couple months. It lasts a while. You don't have to use a lot of it. And I feel like I've had the most results.
Response,
response from using that. I definitely feel like it's good for my skin.
I feel like we should also talk about Clutch Women.
Yeah.
What's been going on with
I would
that
love
lately?
to. Yeah, Clutch Women is for it's a stadium compliant bags. And it's been good. It's been really good. I battle for the most part is I battle that people think you have to carry a clear bag.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help that the policy is called all clear,
Right.
but they allow for a small clutch that's not clear. And I usually have to send the policy to people who are like, no, it says all clear. And I'm like, but look, read, it says.
Right.
So almost, that's the NFL policy. Almost every stadium follows that same policy. There's a few outliers, not in the NFL, but like I think a couple basketball stadiums and whatnot have a different size rule, but for the most part, this is pretty universal, especially so I had to really, honestly, as much as they talk about Taylor and Beyonce having stadium tours and helping the economy, it was big for
I
my
bet.
clutches too, because
Yeah.
people wanted, those were at stadiums and people want to wear a cute purse with their, instead of carrying in a big ugly Ziploc. So that's clutchwomen.com.
And you have different colors, like different teams are supported, or you just have like sleek black ones and solids.
It started with and I think when I first talked to you about it, I had started with team colors, and I do have a few that I try to do teams that it could go for like a few different ones, like a light blue and red. That could be okay. That could go for the Giants. It could go for the Bills. It could go for the Cubs. Like different things that would be multi, purpose.
Right.
I have found those sell really well, but I've also found that people really like either a solid black or a solid blue because they want it and I have a solid red now. And so people like those for concerts, and it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to go with their jersey game day, but they can use
Right.
it for a lot of things. Cause they're made here in Burbank. They're made in the USA. So they're obviously like a little more expensive to make than, if I made them overseas.
Right.
So it's nice to be able to have like nice material that people can use, and so I think the solid colors have been more popular in that sense because they can use them for nights out and whatnot
Right.
too. Yeah.
Do you think about does Clutch Women make anything besides these clutches? And if not, do you think about doing other stuff?
No, I haven't yet. I just the clutches, and then we did expand to wristlets, and these they're called elevated fanny packs, like just because they're thin, because there are a couple. Like I said, like hockey and basketball, just a few stadiums, they say that it can't be more than like an inch wide, which is insane.
Wow.
So that would have to be a wristlet instead of a purse. So there's a couple like that. So we did expand to a couple different options. But no, I haven't really thought about making anything other than those.
When I went to the Forum to see AEW, I was not aware of this policy. So, which I don't know. I'm sure it was I'm sure I should have been aware of it. I just wasn't. So I walked up and they're like, there's no way you're coming in with that purse. I'm like, oh. So I walked it back to my car and I think I had my period at the time. Like I took everything I could possibly need and just stuffed it into my jacket pockets
Yeah.
and did not have a purse. But I definitely should have had a Clutch Woman that night.
You should have, because the Forum is exactly has the policy. Yeah, I'll have to bring you one. I should have brought you one this time. We have a really cute new one, a denim one.
I would love one. Thank you.
I'll send you one after this.
How did you find the person who makes them in Burbank?
So a good friend of mine is she works in fashion, and so she knew it's a woman that's a bag designer, and she's a really great line, Amanda Nia, and so I met with her, and she does everything at her own factory. So she said, well, yeah, I'll help you design them and we'll make them here. It's great because it's small business, and they're awesome. And then she helped me design. I just told her what I needed and what the size was. And then she designed on all the clutches. There's a little, like a sleeve on the back. So you can pull the strap through and wear it around your waist if you want, instead of as a purse. So it's like hands-free and all that stuff. And we got a design patent on it, which is
that's
really
cool.
hard to get. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a lengthy process?
It is. Yeah. And it was hard, but I think the reason mine was able to finally get it was the very specific size for a very specific role. And then the sleeve on the back made it a little more unique too. Cause sometimes it's like, well, it's just a purse. Right. But since it was very specific, we got one on it. Which
so
was
what
really
does
good.
that mean? Someone can't, cause obviously people can make purses for,
they can make them that
for this-
size.
right. So what can they not do? The sleeve on the back?
I think even they probably still can in some way, but I think it has to be very
different.
If it was pretty obviously ripped off, I guess, then I could I could do something about it. I don't know exactly what, to be honest, but it's nice to say I have it.
Yeah,
If I was on
it's power.
Shark Tank, they think it was cool.
Oh yeah, you should go on. Have you tried or considered it?
No, I think that I would just crumble under the pressure of Shark Tank. I feel like they would ask me questions and I'd be like, I don't know. And then I'd just leave. They would definitely tell me not to make them here. They would definitely say that they cost too much per unit to make because they make them here. They would probably be like, make them in China and then it's going to be cheaper. But then,
Right. But can't you push back on that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'm
But
planning for your appearance on
I
Shark
know.
Tank.
Yeah, no, I love it.
I don't watch it enough to know, but I just feel like this is Shark Tank ready.
It feels like it, especially because like Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
I mean, you could take him into his stadiums.
Right.
But
Someone make this happen.
I know. I think I would be too intimidated. I don't know that I have the business mind for that part of it, but John does.
Yeah, you
My
guys
husband
both
does,
go on.
so we could just go on
Yeah.
together and he could yell back.
Do
at them.
this.
Yeah.
Tony, don't you think? Do you watch Shark Tank?
I do, yeah.
Okay, is this should
He
she
stopped
and
right
her
there. He
have-
doesn't really sound like he wants me to go on.
No, I support this, but I feel like I would be nervous now. For you,
Yeah.
because I feel like
I'd start
it's-
sweating.
Yeah.
He'd have a lot
Do
of
you-
questions that I wouldn't have answers to.
Do you know Jenny Hutt? She was a serious host, and now she has Just Jenny podcast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So she and her sister make. Speaking of readers, they make these glasses called bunny eyes, and I actually have a pair. I don't have them in here, but they have all different styles, and the front of it can bend down so that if you're wearing readers, you can like bend it down to see the TV, but then also like see your phone, and then the
nice.
arms kind of like are articulating as well in case. So if you're laying in bed, you're not like it's not pushing into your head. They're really cool. I wear them at night. But she and her sister went on Shark Tank, and I don't know if I don't think it's aired yet. I don't know. Maybe
really?
Maybe it has. I shouldn't have said that. I don't know. But I know that I was watching her Instagram stories about having gone on Shark Tank and stuff. So
How did it go? Do you know?
I think it went well, but I'm not 100% sure. I think
need
they might have gotten. Tony, can you look
I'm
up
gonna Google
Bunny
it.
Eyes Shark? It's Bunny Eyes EYEZ and then Shark Tank.
Okay.
Wasn't the Ring a Shark Tank thing that they passed on, the Ring doorbell?
Really?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think that was one of the
Oh,
big
wow.
things that they passed on.
Oh,
and
that was
then-
dumb.
Yeah, and then it went and took off.
Right.
Obviously.
Wow.
Did Bunny Eyes make it on Shark Tank yet?
Don't see it.
So maybe it hasn't aired yet.
Yeah, I'm not.
I do start getting. I get nervous for people though when
Oh,
I watch it because they started. They have so many questions.
I know.
and you're. I mean, I know you would be prepared and you would know your financial, all of that stuff. But I feel like they just throw questions at
Yeah.
you that I'd be like, I don't know.
I know.
It
Leave me
looks like it
alone.
just aired a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
November 17th, it looks like.
does it say if they got money or?
Hang on, slow internet.
Oh yeah, I know. We're gonna try to fix that.
Keep talking. Give me-
Okay. All right. Well, but so if they want in, what happens? They like give you money and they buy a little bit of your business.
I think, yeah. And I think it varies. They'll either say, I want in for this percentage and then this percentage of your business, or I'll give you this amount. Yeah, I think it just varies. You are supposed to come in with what you want from them.
Oh,
And then they usually negotiate their own thing. And then I think you obviously set your expectations to whatever, and then probably know exactly what the minimum you would want to
Right.
leave with is, or how much of your business you're willing to give to them, how much you think they could help you.
right.
So it just seems very stressful.
It does. It seems like being on like one of those judge shows where they're asking you questions and getting mad at you.
I know, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm too sensitive.
Yeah. I think I'd be the same. Well, the next things we're moving on to, we need Tony for. So
You better decide what you want me for. Yeah, I'm finding very long articles about it, but I can't seem to find quickly
You know
anything
what?
saying if they got it or not.
how about if we let them know on the Thursday show?
Ooh. Oh, what a cliffhanger.
I know. We'll let you know.
We'll find out about that.
Or you can Google yourself.
Yeah, or they could just watch it. Yeah.
Well, but how can they go see that episode? If it
You could
on
if you have
demand.
like Hulu or something, or on demand.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Yes,
think
you could
can
do
watch
that
any of them
too.
on demand. Yeah.
Okay. But what if it doesn't come in through your antenna? We are going to finally cut the cord. Have you cut the cord? Have you cut the cord? And by that I mean like no longer have cable TV and just do all streaming.
I haven't had it in 10 years, probably at least.
Oh
yeah.
wow. We just recently did and went to Hulu Live.
Really?
So I guess
I have-
it's cable
Yeah, that's what I have.
adjacent. Yeah. We had DirecTV forever, and then finally it was so it
is so
just seems so
expensive.
dumb that we're
Yeah.
paying for that along with every other streaming service.
Right. Same.
And Hulu Live we've been really happy with. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. There was I know there was. Well, it's so dumb because we're both big baseball fans, and so there was that we can't watch certain baseball games because the MLB, it's ridiculous. They black out, even if you have the baseball package, they black out local games. And I'm like, but that's what I want to watch is the games in California.
Right.
So it's all kind of, that was the only part that we were having a hard time with, but it would have happened on DirecTV too. So it didn't matter. So
yeah.
we have everything. I mean, YouTube, it's like,
Yeah, we have all the things and also Spectrum, and it's just like, what are we doing? We watch this once every 2 months.
Yeah.
If even that. Like we never watch it.
what do you have it for? Do you think? What are you clinging onto it for?
The idea that we might want to watch news or something, but that's on like Pluto TV. If there's like a free way to get that, but then that's probably also on Hulu Live.
Hulu Live, yeah, has all.
I don't even
almost
know.
everything,
I
really.
think when we first signed up, we had like a great promo. So it was like, oh my God. You know what it is? I think initially Daniel called to cancel. And then it was like, we can get everything we want for $70 a month or something. And so then, but it's like, it's inched
they will
up to
always
over
change your credit.
200.
If you call to cancel, they'll always be like, well, let's see what we can do.
Right.
It's
And-
impossible. You're on the longest phone call, and you're like,
Yeah.
I just want to cancel. You find yourself, you don't want to
Yes.
yell at a complete stranger, but you find yourself losing patience. You're like, I just want to cancel.
Yeah,
Just
please.
let me go.
Release-
just let me go.
release me.
me. Yeah.
So I think it's time to do questions from our fans. I am on Patreon, patreon.com/Allison Rosen.
Patreon.
All sorts of fun stuff there. Check it out. Do an annual subscription. Get 2 months free. Okay.
When we ask, they send them in. They're wondering how you have been. So thanks so much for answering these questions from our fans.
All right. Becky Milner has written in with 3 questions. Any more fun stories from your trip to the beach with Jen Kirkman?
Oh, God. It's been a minute since Jen and I have been to the beach, but she's in New York now.
Yes.
I know, and I miss her. But we haven't gone on a good beach trip in a minute. I'm hoping to do a little vacation with her actually next year.
Oh, how nice.
So if so, hopefully I'll have a lot of good stories again.
Okay. What was your beach trip story? Or had you gone to the beach?
There are a couple different times, but sometimes we would do a trip, just a staycation type situation in Santa Monica. But then a couple times we went to Hawaii together.
I know she wrote about that in her book, right?
Yeah, and that was the trip when we were at a adults only pool and kids kept coming in the pool, and we kept calling security like two psycho Karens basically.
Wow.
But it was real fun. We enjoyed it.
What is your current shampoo conditioner?
Oh, Hask.
I don't know, ask.
Yeah, it's really good for curly hair. I got a lot of questions about curly hair, so I would recommend. It's Hask Curl Care. I use both the shampoo and the conditioner.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not expensive either.
I love it. These are more product questions. It's real gal chat. And current facial cleanser / I think we know your moisturizer.
Yeah, facial cleanser is from Kate Somerville. It's called Exfoliate Cleanser, Gentle Cleanser, something like that, and I like it a lot.
I received Exfoliate in like a FabFitFun box or
Oh
something.
yeah, that's the one that you use like once or twice a week. The
Yeah. Do you,
exfoliator.
I don't use it though. Do you?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like. I've been going to that. I actually get facials there, so I've been going there for
really?
a long time. So I use a lot of her products. Yeah.
All right. Let's do Just Mirror Everyone.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
Do you have a Just Mirror Everyone?
I do. For one is that I check when my husband's not home. I go around the house before I go to bed and look in all the closets. Even though I've been home and I know nobody's come in or out
Yeah.
a door or a window, but I go around and I look at my age for boogeymen, apparently, in my closet. And the other thing I do is when I leave the house, even if I haven't cooked that day or for 2 days, I go and check the burners on the stove like 3 times. I have to check them 3 times before I leave, which seems very OCD, I guess, a little
bit.
Yeah.
I don't think that's just you. I have to check to make sure I turned my flat iron off. Like I'll be like almost inside my car and then like I gotta double check that.
Yeah.
As we're falling asleep, I'll say to Daniel, "Did you lock the door? Did you lock the door again?"
I do that.
I mean, or I'll ask him again, "Did you lock the door?" I don't have to look in closets, but
you're not 5. Yeah.
Well, no,
it's fine.
but like I need the closet doors to be. I prefer the closet doors to be closed. Like there are different things in my room that I'll have to like if there were like a mirror, like a little, portable mirror or something just sitting across the room, I don't think I'd go to sleep with there because I'd be afraid that I'm going to wake up and like see a reflection and think it's someone.
Oh yeah, that's awful. And don't sleep with your closet door open. That seems
you're with me on that one.
Yeah, that seems terrifying.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Okay, no, closets have to be. Even though I don't believe there's anything in them, we need them to be shut.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Do you? Well, one thing I do feels like it's just me, although my husband does do it as well, but I do get made fun of for it, is I unpack the minute I get home from a trip, regardless what time, regardless how long the trip was, regardless how big my bag was, and also unpack the second I get to a hotel.
I like to unpack when I first get to a hotel.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah. Yes, I do that. And I like to get my suitcase completely cleaned out and put in the closet, unless I'm only there for like overnight or something.
Yeah, then you just hang up what you need to and leave everything else. I like to do that as well. But get out the things that, wrinkle, whatever. But when I get home, I mean, it does not matter if my flight was delayed. It doesn't matter if I get home at 2:00 in the morning. I will unpack.
That's not me. I wish it were. No, first of all, I always vow I'm not going to do this, but I return home to just a what the fuck happened here kind of house. And what the fuck happened was I was like rushing around packing and left the place a pigsty. So I'm usually coming home to like a not inviting situation. And then I pretty much just put my suitcase on the floor, open it up, get out what I need, unpack a little bit, and then do the rest. Hopefully the next day, but sometimes it stretches on.
You see the judgment in my eyes?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But thank God that you and your husband are the same.
I know. I was actually thrilled when I saw that he does the same thing because it made me feel, because otherwise, if it was just me doing that and he was just getting in bed and looking at me like I was an insane person, then I would feel very uncomfortable about it. So luckily, it's both of us and we do the exact same thing.
Now, when you move into a new place, do you unpack right away? Because that I do not do. Like I wish. It takes us years to unpack all the way.
I remember, well, when we moved into our house that we're in now, Jon was still playing in Seattle and we found it and we moved in August and he was back in Seattle for training camp. So I basically moved like all my stuff there and I did unpack it pretty much all on my own. Not that that's a big deal, but I did pretty much unpack it right when I got there because I think he was able to come home the next week for a couple of days or something, and he expected to have boxes to help me unpack, and I was like, no, I can't look at boxes.
He's like, you did all this. I'll do Christmas forever.
Yeah, exactly. Works out for me.
Tony, you travel. Are you an unpacker right away?
No, I kind of don't guys are much simpler, and
we're much simple.
I corrected myself. So I don't need a lot. So I don't unpack on trips really. I just get what I need, and then when I come home, I usually give myself like a day because I usually just don't want to do anything when I get home. So I just usually the next day is when I'll unpack.
Do you have your like how you pack on tour down to a science? Like,
sort of. I mean, I pack very fast. Like it's I can pack in a couple of minutes because I've done it so many times.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big conversation between me and Flo because it takes her a very long time to pack, and she definitely overpacks every time. And,
Oh,
Yeah.
I could talk to her.
Yeah,
I'm really good at packing
Are you?
just the essentials.
I'm trying to get her there, but
I'm a big don't check bags person.
Really?
And it can be hard. I will say my greatest accomplishment was that we just went to Mexico for 10 days and I didn't have to check a bag. But that is easier because it's summer, right? It's like you're kind of
You don't
not.
need a coat or something.
Lighter.
Yeah. You don't need, and you just need like a couple pair of flip flops. You don't need much.
Right.
It's definitely harder if you were going on a winter trip. But even that, I will do. If I'm going to do stand up, like I'm going to Syracuse the end of this month, and I thought, okay, like it's only 3 days, I can do it. It's because I know exactly how many shirts I need
Right.
for stage and whatnot. You can do it, and then you just wear your bigger shoes on the plane. Like if you need boots, you just wear them on the plane. I refuse. If I have to check a bag, it stresses me out.
I had gotten to a point with the Adam Carolla show where I wasn't checking a bag when we were just touring a little bit, but it was always like we're gone for a night or we're gone for like 2 nights or something. And I would pretty much wear what I was going to wear on stage onto the plane.
Yeah.
So that then it was just like my clothes home and makeup and hair stuff, you know? Now, do you ever feel limited by like the toiletries and things like that? Or do you have like a small version of everything?
I have a small version of everything, or just squeeze everything into that can definitely be the trickiest part.
Yeah.
But I have figured it out, or I'll find like the littlest, tiniest things for face stuff because it's 3 days. You can just
Right.
squirt a few things
Totally,
into
yeah.
those little tiny round things, and so I've just I don't know, I've figured it out because it adds so much time to your trip, especially when you land
It
at
does.
LAX. It adds an hour to your trip.
Do
waiting.
you roll or fold?
I both roll if it's a longer trip, or if it's like sweaters and whatnot. I
Right.
found if you roll those, you can definitely fit more.
Yeah, the last trip we went on, I rolled, and it was a whole new world for me.
It really is. Rolling your jeans for some reason, it really changes things. You can
Yeah.
just
Right, Tony?
look at you.
Roll, fold.
fold.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You just don't care what the scientists say, do you?
Nope.
You rebel.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. but-
Well, rebel like how a flat earther is a rebel, you know?
Right.
Like, the science is conclusive. This has been too much fun. Thank
has
you
been
so
fun.
much. Tell them where they can see you, plug everything you'd like to plug, etc., please.
Yes. If you're in the Syracuse area, I am there December 29th, which is actually my birthday, through the 31st. So it's a good way to end the new year, fun New Year's show, and you'll be out of there in time to still go toast at the Syracuse Funny Bone. And then I'm in Spokane right after that. So those are on sarahcolonna.com, all my dates, clutchwomen.com for the bags, and Sarah Colonna 1 on Instagram.
Wonderful. Tony?
Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
and Bizarre Albums every Tuesday, and Motion City Soundtrack will be on tour starting New Year's Eve in the Midwest and East Coast.
Wonderful. And my book, Tropical Attire and Courage and Other Phrases That Scare Me, which Sarah blurbed. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
do.
so much. That was so nice of you. So, in honor of the 5-year anniversary, they have re-released it. Updated cover, 5 new essays, 5 new illustrations with the essays. So go get that. Go to my website, AllisonRosen.com. You can
That is
click on
so
it.
cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
That's awesome.
There will be a signing, but I got to figure out. They're waiting on me to tell them which venue, and I haven't yet. So
Okay.
I got to get that.
You'll get there.
Yeah, I gotta do that. Yes. So check that out. And then also, Tony, big breaking news
Uh-oh.
in the whole, like, do I do all my plugs or do I just direct them to my link tree? But okay. A listener bought AllisonsLinks.com so that I can just refer them to Allison's Links.
Oh my God.
It goes straight to my link tree. And I said to him, thank you so much. I can't wait to add 2 minutes to my plugs.
Explaining that.
this part. Yeah. So it's AllisonsLinks.com. I assume www.AllisonsLinks.com's work. Allison's Links.
No, that's links. It's not with an X.
Or a Y. No, it's AllisonsLinks.com. Go there and you can get to all of my stuff because it goes to my link tree.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen show?